All right. So on this past episode, we talked about NFL replacement referees potentially returning if negotiation doesn't go down. We also talked about MVP tight race, and then Thunder battled the Pistons this past Monday. And then we talked about women's Final Four revealed as well. Let's see what's in store. Let's see what's in store in today's JDB's morning cap. We say good morning, and March is gone. April is here. Today is April 1st, 2026, and you know what today is? Do you know what today is? But wait. Let me say it. Let me do the funny stuff first, real quick. Today, this is my final ever JDB's morning cap, so I will not do it at all. April Fools. April Fools. I'm just kidding. I will not. This is not my last day of JDB's morning cap. It's actually April Fool's Day. Every April 1st is April Fools. So we are so proud. This week is Easter. Good Friday is this Friday. Easter is this Sunday. We've been talking about that this past few days. So we should take your time to do this for that one. All right, let's get this thing started. Let's start with the NFL. There's no April Fools in the NFL for this one. NFL has handful of rule changes approved for 2026 season. So we're gonna start looking all those for this one here. So before we start naming the description, before we start the changes, let's revisit about the negotiations of the referees before they start the potential replacement referees. When I was talking about that yesterday on that show, when I reflected, I said time is essence as far as NFL regular referees. I mean, we talk about controversials, and something you want to be limited. The CBA negotiations is so difficult right now because of that. So it doesn't really know what would happen if this is going to be the case. So there's a lot of things. It really doesn't really happen here. All right, so there are notable five rule changes approved in 2026, including kickoff situations. Let's start. The biggest rule that I saw is the onside kick. So here's the rule now. For the onside kicks, in the entire for 32 NFL teams. Teams may now declare an onside kick at any time during the game, regardless of the score. Previously, this was restricted to the fourth quarter while trailing, so it's limited. For the previous rule, you only can do onside kick in a limited fashion. It's the fourth quarter, not any time of the game. This time, they can onside kick at any time of this game. So let's backtrack one rule at a time. So do I like the onside kick during the game, or should I rather take the onside kick during the fourth quarter when trailing? Well, actually, I like taking the onside kick at any time. So I think it's best for the league. I think it's best for other teams try to come back and to win this football game. But it could be teams' disadvantage. And here's why. Because it felt like even though the other team is winning, and let's say you're in the third quarter, your team is down really, really bad, you want to get the ball back if you want to get an onside kick and being down super big, I'm fine with it. You get the ball back, you get another opportunity to score. It could lead to several comebacks, but it it really it really does it really doesn't hurt everything you're supposed to ask. But now you're facing several stuff to work with that. So you put yourself in a really, really bad spot in this one here. So it it, it's gonna be tough because of that. So it so we already know y'all been going through your own minds in this one here. And the next rule I want to talk about: replacement referee assistance. For the 2026 season only, the NFL officiating department in New York can correct clear and obvious on-field misses if a work stoppage leads to the use of replacement referees. So, so that means that if it, let's say, just like in Major League Baseball this year, if the home plate umpire misses a call, let's say if the pitch called a strike, if it's even though it's outside the zone, the batter must tap your helmet for the ABS challenge, and then it's only going to take 3 seconds to image the location, and then once they've shown the image location, then they're gonna make a strike zone correction, and then they overturn it. It would call the ball. Let's say if the pitch could have been a strike, if it's in the strike zone. Let's say either the catcher tap his helmet or the pitcher tap his hat. Then same thing. The call would have been overturned to a strike. As for the NFL, let's say either there's an incomplete pass that should have been like 2 feet in bounds, then they gotta look at it and catch it. And then if there's an altercation, or let's say let's say if the person reached the line of game, if they rolled short, then they gotta take a look and get a first down. Maybe you don't have to challenge. You can take 10, 15 seconds to take a look at it, make sure the referee stops the game. Take 15, 20 seconds to assist the replay, and then they can correct that call. The next rule is player disqualifications. League personnel can now consult with on-field officials regarding player ejections for flagrant or non-football acts, even if no flag was originally thrown. So, yeah, we've seen some hostile acts in the NFL. In the NBA, there's hostile acts in the NBA. The NBA should do it too. If no foul has been called, then if you can blow a whistle, then actually they've done this a lot. Actually, the NBA, only if the basket was made. Let's say if the basket's good, then you could end up also if it's a non-basketball play, either is it a technical foul or a flagrant penalty, one or two. In the NFL, let's say if it's a non-football play or flagrant action, you could get thrown out. You could get ejected from the game. And maybe a fine. A fine would be significant. They can face potential fines, possible suspensions. So it's gonna be critical because of that. So if that's the case, then that's gonna be a tough show. Next rule I'm gonna talk about: midfield kickoffs. When kicking off from the 50-yard line due to a penalty, the incentive to kick out of bounds is removed. The ball will now be spotted at the 20-yard line down from the 25 for touchbacks or out of bounds kicks. So let's just say all this. Maybe it's actually better when you kick it at the 50-yard line. It is actually impacting the field position from the offenses. It's going to impact the field position because of that. But it doesn't really help its own cause when you talk about all these NFL rule changes and all that kind of stuff. So that's the thing I really want to talk about, is the NFL rules and all that stuff right now. And then you got kickoff alignment. Receiving teams now only need 5 players on the restraining line instead of 6, allowing for a 5-3-2 alignment designed to improve safety and return rates. Well, we've seen a handful of injuries during kickoff or during kickoff returns. We've seen some injuries risk. So it could lead to a penalty, it could lead to a fine, staying their formations, and also it could lead to potential illegal formation if you're on the wrong spot. So this is what this is what this is what happens when you don't take advantage of the kickoff. Also, I'm gonna go one more rule. I'm gonna go one more rule of this. So I'm gonna choose one of those four rules. PUP, the pup list practice window. The players on the physical unable to perform list can now begin their 21-day practice period after their team's second regular season game. They must still miss at least 4 games before being activated. Well, let's say if you're injured, if you're out extended period of time, or dating back, or if you're injured dating back from the previous year, let's say if you get released from injury, but you must pass your physical test, you must practice every 21 days. You must practice every 21 days before you can play. You gotta be healthy 21 straight days. You gotta drink plenty of water in 21 straight days. You gotta eat right in 21 straight days. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. You gotta work hard for this. You gotta work hard in 21 straight days. Mental, physically, and emotionally. You got to play. You got to practice every 21 days, every 3 weeks to ensure you return back on the field healthy, free and clear. So, and that's that in this one here. So, I want to talk more NFL rule changes as far as media rights. So, let's talk about Monday Night Football on ESPN, which means that there will be no more Monday Night Football doubleheader on ESPN. End of the era of Monday Night Football doubleheaders, which means does it have to do with due to time constraints, or so every Monday Night Football game is standalone. Every Monday Night Football primetime game is standalone. For the years past, they agreed that there could be Monday Night Football doubleheaders for selected weeks. And then before that 14-team playoff era, we only get 1 week for a doubleheader for Monday Night Football. And now there will be no more Monday Night Football doubleheaders. However, there are talks that ESPN can add a Thanksgiving Eve game. But there's several other media rights they can take advantage of. So there's a lot going on right now. So that's what happens when you don't get these guys into it. So we have Monday Night Football doubleheaders. So you can really ask for it at the end of the day. You can see. Yeah, and Christmas games. So Christmas game is on Friday this year in the NFL, even though the NFL schedule hasn't released yet. They say NFL will have 3 games on Christmas again this year. 2 games on Netflix, and then Fox will add a game as well. Week 16 is a Christmas week, so it'll be week 16. That will be a Christmas week right there. So the schedule may be weird this year in the NFL. NFL schedule releases expect to be weird this year as far as the final month of the regular season. I mean, the final 2 months of the regular season. That puts Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then we talk about the college football playoff schedule. New Year's Eve wouldn't take place, or Thursday night football. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot going on as far as NFL scheduling. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be the weirdest ever. So this could be the weirdest season you'll ever see. I ever see in my life. So we could see everything else about it. So if that's the case, then you make yourself useful in this one. So yeah, we talk about NFL rule changes. Um, so yeah, we done all this all the time, all the time. I'm gonna take a 20-second breather. Okay, so NFL is done. Now let's talk some NBA. So I'm gonna watch some action. What went down of them yesterday. So let's start with teams who have clinched their divisions or locked into other spots. Let's see who's locked in. Magic beat the Suns 115-111. That allowed the Lakers clinching the playoffs and clinching the Pacific Division. Meanwhile, the Hornets beat the Nets 117-86 to keep pace for a top 6 of the Eastern Conference. Pistons beat the Raptors 127-116. The Pistons clinched the Central Division. The Rockets beat the Knicks 111-94. Bucks beat the Mavericks 123-99. Neither team is going to the playoffs, by the way. Lakers beat the Cavaliers 127-113. Lakers have clinched the playoffs and Pacific Division. Meanwhile, the Trailblazers beat the Clippers 114-104, which means the Clippers have locked into the play-in spot. Let's take a look at the teams who have clinched the postseason berth. Thunder, for the West, it's Thunder, Spurs, Lakers, and the Nuggets have all clinched the postseason berth. The teams who have clinched at least a play-in position: Timberwolves, Rockets, Suns, Clippers, Trailblazers, and the Warriors. Both Blazers and the Warriors have both locked in. They both locked into their play-in tournaments, so they can't. So Warriors and Blazers cannot finish top six. The Clippers still can finish top six in the Western Conference. They only lost 37 games, and the Suns lost 34 games. So how they can do that? Actually, the Clippers, my bad. The Clippers have locked into the play-in team. They still can jump ahead of Phoenix as a number 7 spot. The Clippers, Trailblazers, and Warriors all locked into the play-in tournament. Suns have not quite locked into the play-in tournament yet because they still can. Suns can lock into the play-in tournament with a loss or wins by Houston and Minnesota. If both actually no, take that back. Suns need to win out and need either Minnesota or Houston to lose out. Suns can still get the top 6 in the playoffs. But the only problem is they need to jump ahead of one of these two teams. And that's the key. We only have 4 Western Conference teams have clinched their playoff position. Rest of the teams, either they have clinched at least a play-in position or teams have been locked in the play-in position. The teams who've been locked in the play-in position is the Clippers, Trailblazers, and the Warriors. The teams have clinched at least a play-in position. Minnesota, Houston, and Phoenix, they can still clinch the top 6 playoff berth. They still can do it. Yeah, the Suns have a better outside shot to clinch top 6. Minnesota and Houston, I think Minnesota is safe enough to get to top 6. Houston, it's a close call, but I think Houston's a better team to be safe to get to top 6. Suns don't own tiebreakers with Minnesota and Houston, by the way. So this every game for the Suns is critical. As for the Eastern Conference, teams who've locked into the playoffs, Detroit won the Central Division. Boston and New York are also clinched their playoffs. The teams who have clinched at least a play-in position: Cleveland, Atlanta, Toronto, Philadelphia, Orlando, Miami, and Charlotte all have clinched at least a play-in position. The teams they can still clinch the top 6. Cleveland has 47 wins. They should be safe right now. So this is a golden opportunity to make sure where all the conferences is all about. So which team has a better shot to make top 6? So who do you think who takes the 6th spot? We know Atlanta is going to be number 5, and Cleveland number 4, New York number 3, Boston number 2, and Detroit number 1. The 6th seed is the biggest question mark right now. Toronto, Philadelphia, Orlando, Miami, or Charlotte. To me, I gotta go with Philadelphia. I'm gonna go with Charlotte. They need to win out and need other teams to lose out and leapfrog the standings. So I think they can do it. I think they can still do it because of that. There's a lot of things they can really tighten things up, and they can do all this, and they can do all that. So that's what difference is all about. You gotta take care of yourself. And so it really puts it in granted position. So it just doesn't matter when you're just going in right now. So it's about time and effort. It's about time and effort right now. So if you're talking, let me breathe for 15 seconds. All right, let's close it out here. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do a double header. So, what I'm gonna talk about tomorrow, it's double header. JDB's morning cap double header. This will be the third this year. I've done two of those in February. I'm doing it again. And the reason why I'm gonna do a double header tomorrow because Good Friday is this Friday and Easter is this Sunday. So tomorrow, we're going to preview both women's and men's Final Four. The first episode of the doubleheader. Then the second episode of the doubleheader, I'm going to talk about the second episode of the doubleheader. I want to talk about I'll talk some NBA, and then I'll talk Heat Celtics and Spurs Warriors. They're both in action tonight on ESPN. 7:30 Eastern between the Celtics and the Heat. Then 10 Eastern between the Spurs and the Warriors. Playoff implications. Heat has something to play for the top six. Warriors already locked in the play-in position. The Spurs looking for the number one seed in the West, as we're down just less than 2 weeks of the regular season. So I'll do a double header tomorrow. First one we'll preview both men's and women's Final Four. Second episode talks some NBA and all that stuff. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed in this one. So we should be okay at the end of the day. So I think we're gonna talk about all this at this point. All right, I'm out of here. This is JDB's morning cap. I hope you enjoy your day, and don't forget, doubleheader will start tomorrow on JDB's morning cap. Enjoy your day, guys. Take care of yourself.